An abstract class allows us to add abstraction to our Java programs. It's like a template for a class where some of the functionality is not yet implemented. This means you cannot instantiate an abstract class, but other classes can extend the abstract class and implement the appropriate functionality. One way we might use abstract class in Java is for reading a file. Let's say you want to read a file in several different ways. Some hold secret messages, some have information we want to redact, so it's important to be able to retrieve the content of a file in different ways. To start off, we will create an abstract file reader class. So I'm going to create an abstract file reader class. This class will have the basic operation for interacting with the file and retrieving the file's content. It will also have one attribute called file path. It will have the data type path which is built into Java. Once it's set, it will not change for the instance. So that's why we have added the keyword final. For the constructor, we will have the user input a string which represents the file path. Then in the constructor, we will convert this into a path object and we will set it equal to our file path attribute. We can add additional error handling here to make sure the file path is valid, but we will keep these simple for now. Then we will add a getter for the user to retrieve the path for this abstract class. We will include a key algorithm called reader file. This will read the file and turn the output into a list of strings. For the implementation, we will iterate through the lines of the file on the file path. For each line, we will parse it. This will be a custom method we will create in a minute. Then we will collect the parsed results into a list that we return to the user. For the parse line implementation, this really shouldn't be done in the base class since other classes will always override this method with the different implementation. The base parsing would be no parsing at all. To force the subclasses to implement parseLine, we can make this method abstract by adding the keyword abstract. So I'm going to create a class. As a part of that extension, it will need to implement parseLine. So I'm going to create a class named digit-only-file-reader. And this class will extend the abstract class, abstract file reader. So it is showing an error. Why? Because I have not implemented the methods that I have defined in the abstract class. We need to define them. Like we need to define the abstract methods. It's compulsory. So I am going to define this method, and this method will always come with an annotation that is override. It is again showing an error. So I need to define a constructor. So constructor is taking the file path in a string, so I need to pass that here. So this is coming from the super class, so I need to pass the super keyword here, then the file path that I'm accessing from the super class constructor. So the error disappeared. So here I need to update the return value that I want to return. So I will update it with line dot replace all and with the regex conditions. So it will replace it with this. Let's try this code in a separate main class. So I will create a main class in which we will try this code. We will create a file reader with a file message.txt. We are finding our code with IntelliJ. So I'm going to create a file with message.txt. So I'm going to add some text to this message.txt file. So let's say this is automation with Aman Garg, and we are learning Java here. So in this main class, Let's read the file and point out its content. So I'm going to use the digital only file reader, then I will create the object of this file. So I'm going to call this file where I have kept my methods. So here I need to provide the path of the file. So this is the path. Then I'm going to print out the text that is in the file using read file. So we need to add an exceptions like we have added in our abstract class. Then I'm going to print out the path of the file. Let's run it. And there is our secret message. So I'm going to update my text to see the secret message. So if I will run it again, so we will be able to see the secret message. Before it was coming blank because we have added regex. So now here is our secret message. So what makes the abstract file reader class useful? One measure is that this class allows us to place the file reader algorithm in one place. Other concrete file reader classes can use the algorithm without worrying about the implementation. They just have to override the parseLine method. With the abstract file reader, we can easily create functionality that reads the file and converts its content to all uppercase, lowercase, or whatever we want. All we need to do is create a class that extends the abstract file reader class and implements the parseLine functionality. In other subclasses, we also have the functionality to continue adding custom programs, adding custom methods. Ultimately, there is a bunch of different ways you can read a file in your program. But one of the main goals you should have in contributing to a code base is writing code that's easy to read and easy to contribute to. With this implementation, if there is ever a new type of file reader that's need to be created, a new engineer can just extend the abstract file reader class. It's that easy.